Hello, YouTube. In my continuous narrative about the Soviet and Russian weapons, I want to present to you sometimes little known pages of history. For example, Joseph Stalin, Soviet dictator, the most powerful man in the USSR for over 2 decades. Apparently, he liked personal weapons. It was seen that the Secretary General of the Communist Party does not need a collection of weapons. He is the head of the world's largest country. So when does he even have time for a hobby or for collecting guns and looking at them? Well, after Stalin came to power, or should we say grabbed power by destroying his opponents, the Soviet Union was literally surrounded by enemies, at least in the paranoid minds of its leaders. And it was always necessary to be prepared for war. Therefore, the topic of weapons has always been in the sphere of the Soviet leaders' attention. Everything that was produced and designed was under his personal supervision. As soon as the prototypes of weapons or arms appeared, they were immediately provided to the Secretary General for his inspection. At the same time, you can find photos of Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin, where he even was trying to get into a tank. But photos of him with small arms yet to be found. Considering that Stalin was a very suspicious man, there's no doubt that he carried a weapon with him. But if a person was associated with weapons all his life in his work, and at the end of it he also had unlimited power, then collecting different types of individual weapons no longer seems so surprising. Well, there is a photo of Stalin with a sniper rifle. It was in 1934, the 17th Congress of the Bolshevik Party was held, and it was attended by gunsmiths from Tula, very famous Russian city, where they had been creating weapons for a very long time. It was only then that the sniper rifle appeared, and the Mosin trilinear famous rifle became the model for its design. This rifle was then given to Stalin. So they took a photo and wrote it down in the transcript of the Congress the following: Comrade Stalin took aim with the rifle, an ovation. But why aren't there any pictures of the Soviet leader with a handgun? If there are, I don't have them. But it's very interesting that basically there are no pictures. It's no secret that Djugashvili, which was his real last name, often used personal weapons when he raided banks in the Russian Empire for the purpose of robbery. That was before the revolution and takeover of Russia by communists. At that time, expropriators like Stalin used the Belgian Browning most often. And this handgun was built in 1900, was very compact and could be worn unnoticed by others. During the Russian Civil War, Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin was a member of the Revolutionary Military Council of several fronts. So he definitely had personal weapons. But the photographs of that time show Stalin in uniform, but he does not even have a holster with a revolver. To find out what kind of weapon the Secretary General had during the entire period of his work, historians had to conduct a whole entire investigation into historical records. They claimed that the arsenal that he had consisted of about 24 rifles, revolvers, and pistols. Basically, all these weapons were presented to the Soviet leader as a gift. After Stalin died, some of these copies were sent to the Museum of Artillery and the Central Museum of the Armed Forces. For example, a revolver with a commemorative plaque on it to Joseph Vissarionovich or Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin from Izhevsk gunsmiths. And already in 1987, the Kremlin commandant's office handed over the Mauser gun to the museum. The caliber is 6.35 millimeters, and this weapon is from 1910-1915 years of production. By the way, this pistol was very popular with German officers back in the First World War and various forces engaged in the Russian Civil War. Almost before the Great Patriotic War, or as you call it, World War II, the Voyevodin pistol was created, an 18-round pistol with a long barrel. It is said that at the moment this sample was the only sample of this weapon, and it is engraved. People's Commissar of Defense to Comrade Stalin from the author, the year is 1942. The gun has a long barrel because the designer created it for tank crews who needed to shoot from the narrow loopholes of the tank. The production of these weapons was not developed really because the invasion of the Nazis into the Soviet Union had begun. So it was clear that the author, the designer of the weapon, gave Stalin this pistol for a reason. He hoped that this Secretary General would evaluate the weapon in order to get it released and put into mass production. Anyway, on his 17th birthday, Stalin was presented with a Tula Tokarev pistol, and also he had a Korovin pistol, and there were Walters and Brownings in his arsenal. Such is the story of the Soviet dictator's weapons collection. And I will bring you more stories from the history of Russian weapons and some beyond, East European and so forth. And if you like my research, please kindly support me through the links you will discover in the description to this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button, please, so YouTube understands that you want to be notified. Please like my videos, and thank you for your attention to my work.